Hello everyone, my name is Lynn Rosario. I'm the Business Development Specialist at Velocity Community Credit Union, and today I have with me
Emily Dale, the Marketing Specialist at Velocity Community Credit Union.
Today we'll be discussing budgeting for success. Before we begin, does anybody's account look like this?
Don't raise your hand, just wink.
If anybody's account looked like this, well, guess what? We are going to be helping you today to make sure that you have money sitting in that account so you can use it for expenses that you want or need. So where do you get your money from? That's one of the first things that we want to know. Emily, where do you get your money from?
So I work at the credit union, so I get a paycheck every 2 weeks. Lynn, what about you?
Well, because I work with her as well, I also get it every 2 weeks. So where do you guys get your money from? Maybe you get it from your parents or family member, friends. How about a work or a job? Those that are not of age, that are under the age of 14, maybe car washing or maybe mowing the lawns. There's many ways to make money. And
Maybe even you get a birthday card in the mail, you shake that birthday, there's money in there, even on the holidays, some cash could come your way.
Oh yes, I actually do enjoy Easter. When I was younger, we used to do Easter egg hunts, and inside those eggs that I would find actually had dollar bills. So that was a fun way to make money. And we also have allowance.
You will get paid for doing your room potentially. Your parents could honor you with that gift. Unfortunately, as you get older, you're going to have to do those chores without a paycheck coming in.
Yeah, but for those of you that are collecting and allowance for doing your chores, you guys are very lucky, because when I was younger, my parents told me I had to do those chores to live in this house, so I did not get paid for that. So we know where we get your money from. How do you spend your money? Emily, how do you spend your money?
So the number one spend for me is going to be bills, because those are my necessities. I've got to live in a house. I've got to eat food. Those are things I need to survive.
Right. Same here. I also have the bills too, but I also do love vacation. But for those of you out there, you guys may have your parents that do help with paying some of your bills. But what about those expenses that you want to purchase? Maybe a cell phone, maybe AirPods. How about shoes like Nikes, Adidas? How about, everybody loves technology. How about the PS5, PS4 if you can get that one, Xbox. There's many ways that you can purchase your money. And I know one of your favorites, Emily.
Chick-fil-A. I love their chicken sandwiches, and I love to go out to eat, especially if I'm not cooking.
Yes. All right, so we know where you get your money and how do you spend your money. But the most important thing and why we're here today is, what is a budget? Do you guys know what a budget is? Emily, can you explain to those out there that do not know what a budget is?
Of course. A budget is a saving and spending plan for your money.
Simple and easy as that. But why is budgeting so important? Do you know why?
The main thing is that a budget helps you live within your means. So if I wanted a $1 billion boat, but based on what I make, I am not going to be able to afford a boat that is $1 billion. That is insane. So I'll just get a $1,000 kayak, enjoy my weekends, so I can live within my means.
Yeah, but hey, buying a $1,000 kayak is not bad, you know. But let's just say, in order to get that $1 billion boat, you want to put that as a goal. Maybe that is a goal that you want to reach. You want to accomplish that goal, and that way you can buy that $1 billion boat. But in order to do that, you want to start with creating a savings plan. Once you have that plan, you can start moving closer to accomplishing that goal.
And then the main thing to have is peace of mind. With this budget, it gives you a relaxing situation so you don't have to stress about your finances because you're in control.
Right. And of course, a peace of mind. Can you imagine peace of mind and sitting on that boat? I know I can. But okay, but let's talk about if you don't have a plan. If you don't have a plan, what can happen? You get fees with negative balances. Emily, can you tell them what happens if you don't make that car payment?
Your car can get repoed, meaning the credit union or bank can come and take away your car as collateral for those payments.
Yes, so we will take that car and repo it. All right, you also get high rates as well. So you'll be paying something, you'll be purchasing something for a higher price because you got high rates. But the most important thing is you will be broke. Who wants to be broke? I know I don't want to be broke. I still want to make money and spend money the way that I want.
Next, we're going to talk about some tips for budgeting. So when you get down and get all your bills together and are prepared to start fixing your budget, don't be stressed. If you go in stressed, you're going to get overwhelmed and not be able to stay focused.
Right. And if you stress, what happens? You tend to overthink. Then if you're overthinking, you're not going to be able to focus on that one goal. So overall, you want to have that goal in mind. Once you have that goal in mind, everything will be smooth sailing. So this guy, for example, has all these little ideas. As you see, maybe he put in a savings plan and created one goal. So now he's able to focus on that one goal to meet all of those ideas.
Now, let's talk about the different types of expenses. First, Lynn, can you take it away?
Sure. The first expense is fixed expenses. Fixed expenses are the exact same amount each month and on the same due date. So for instance, your phone bill, your car payment, those type of bills come out every single month for the same amount on that day. So that one I can actually budget for accordingly every single month.
Great.
And then we have a second one. This one's a little weird one, but I'll let Emily explain this one.
So this one's called your flexible expenses. They are a little irregular, like Lynn said. They will not be a consistent bill, but they can vary in the price and they can vary on the due date. Right. So what these are more going to be your wants rather than your needs, like dining out, fancy clothes, maybe even going to the movies, anything that you're doing to spice up your life.
And you already know what I want. I want that vacation. So all my vacations have different prices. This here is a sample budget. Let's say this is Susie. Susie is a college student who works part-time at a coffee shop. She makes $250 every 2 weeks for a total of $512. She also has all of her expenses, which I'm going to have Emily break down.
With Susie's expenses, she's broken it up into necessities versus her must budget, which are a little bit more on the want side. So her necessities are going to be her cell phone for $65, her gas for $50, and her laundry for $15.
Not bad.
Then, we're moving on to her wants. Those are going to be eating out, which is $100, entertainment, which is $50, and clothes, which is another $50. That's going to total $330 for Susie's expenses.
Okay, for those mathematicians out there, if Susie is bringing home $512 a month and all of her bills and expenses come out to $330, what is remaining? We'll go ahead and give you 5 seconds. Count it down, Emily.
5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
All right, for those of you that guessed $182, you are correct. She has $182 left over to do as she please.
Plus, Susie, it looks like there's a little note at the bottom and only has $82 that she can play with. So, what did she do with the rest of it? Let's think about that. Oh, she put it into her savings account. So she put $100 into her emergency fund to protect her for future costs. The goal is to at least put 10% of your savings, of your money into savings. With this, Susie would have gotten $51.20. But she was even smarter and doubled it to $100.
Nice. If you can always put more into your savings, it's very good and very important. That way you have more for later on. All right. So now we need to figure out a budgeting format. What is the way you format your budgeting?
So I budget quarterly because that's the best way to lay out my bills. Lynn?
I like to do monthly. Again, my son, who's 13 years old, loves vacation as much as I do, and we want to make sure we can do this every single month. You can decide on what term budget works for you. We have yearly, school year maybe, a semester, monthly, weekly. You do what works best for you.
Remember, the most important thing is to have peace of mind when it comes to a budget. So you have to work around your schedule so that it benefits you and you'll stick to it.
Right. All right, so here we have the top 5 steps of budgeting. Emily, you want to tell us what the first one is?
Of course. The first one is know what is important. So we're getting back to our basics, the needs versus your wants. Your needs are going to be what keeps you alive and keeps you surviving. So it's going to be shelter, like a home, food that you eat at home and you get from the grocery store, versus your wants are going to be eating out, going to that Chick-fil-A, maybe even going to the movies, going on travel expenses.
Right. That is something I want. But for instance, like one of the main things that she did mention was like the foods and things, but let's think about water. Water is one of the main things that we need to survive. I know all of you guys like the Gatorade and the Kool-Aid and the Capri Sun, but those are more like wants, because if you can afford it, by all means, you go and buy it. But if it's not in your budget, you want to make sure you can budget for at least water. Okay? Now, step 2, setting your goals. There are short-term goals, intermediate goals, long-term goals. Emily, what type of goals do you have?
So I have a long-term goal of retirement. So I always put a little piece of my paycheck aside to continue to potentially get to that retirement stage in 30 years, but it may be 40, but it's way off. So it's long-term. What about you, Lynn?
Oh, you come on. I'm sure all of you guys know what I'm going to say. I love my short-term goals. Again, I want those vacations every month. But again, those may not work for you out there, but you can determine what you want to do, what type of goals. For those that are 6th grade, you guys might want a laptop first before you guys start planning for college. But that could be a long-term goal. But then you have our seniors out there. They are going to college, the following year? So that's going to be a short-term goal for them. But again, it's what works best for you. Step 3 is understanding your income versus expenses. Basically, as simple as it gets, know what's coming in versus what's going out, okay? And Emily?
Then lastly, you're going to want to make that spending plan. That's going to be your next move. You don't want to end up like Granny over there, scraping the bottom, trying to get every penny out of her piggy bank.
Right. And number 5, which is the most important one, is when you stick to your plan and accomplish your goals, you can live the life that you want. So it's just doing what's good for you and saving what you want. All right? And now all of you guys have now graduated
From
Budgeting for Success.